Hi guys, and welcome back to the next video. Today I'm reading the third ingredient, the third part. So let's begin. Go on and tell me, honey, she said. I know now that it ain't art. That it ain't art that's worrying you. You met him on a ferry boat, didn't you? Go on, Cecilia, kid, and tell your own Hetty about it. But Yov and Melancholy must first spend the surplus of sighs and tears that wafted, and flowed the barque of romance to its harbor in the delic- delectable isles. Presently, through the stringly tendons that formed the bars of the confessional, the penitent, or was it the glorified communicant of the scared flame, told her story without art of or illumination. It was only 3 days ago I was coming back on the ferry from New Jersey City. Old Mr. Sh- Shroom, 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 an art dealer, told me of a rich man in Newark who wanted a miniature of his daughter painted. I went to see him and showed him some of my work. When I told him the price would be $50, he laughed at me like a hyena. He said, an enlarged crayon 20 times the size would cost him only $8. I had just enough money to buy my ferry ticket back to New York. I felt as if I didn't want to live, 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 live another day. I must have looked as I felt, for I saw him on the row of seats opposite me, looking at me as if he understood. He was nice looking, but oh, above everything else, he looked kind. When one when one is tried or unhappy or hopeless, kindness counts more than anything else. When I got so miserable that I couldn't fight against it any longer, I got up and walked out to the rear door of the ferry boat cabin. No one was there, and I slipped quickly over the rail and dropped into the water. Oh, friend Hetty, it was cold, cold. For just one moment, I wished I was back in the old Wallambrosa, starving and hoping. And then I got numb and didn't care. And then I felt that somebody else was in the water close by me, holding me up. He had followed me and jumped in to save it, to save me. Sorry. Somebody threw a thing like a big white donut at us, and he made me put my arms through the hole. Then the ferry boat backed, and they pulled us on board. Oh, Hetty, I was so ashamed of my wickedness in trying to drown myself, and besides, my hair had all tumbled down, and was sopping wet, and I was such a sight. And then some man in blue clothes came around, and he gave them his card, and I heard him tell them he had seen me drop my purse on the edge of the boat outside the rail, and And in learning, learning over to get it, I had fallen overboard. And then I remembered having read in the papers that people who try to kill themselves are locked up in cells with people who try to kill other people, and I was afraid. But some ladies on the boat took me downstairs to the furnace 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 room and got me nearly dry and did up my hair. When the boat landed, he came and put me in a cab. He was all dripping himself, but laughed as if he thought it was all a joke. He begged me, but I wouldn't tell him my name nor where I lived. So ashamed. You were a fool, child, said Hetty kindly. Wait till I turn up the light a bit. I wish to heaven we had an onion. Then he raised his hat, went on Cecilia, and said, very well, but I will find you anyhow. I'm going to claim my rights of salvage. Salvage. Then he gave money to the cab driver and told him to take me where I wanted to go, and walked away. What is salvage, Hetty? The age of a piece of goods that ain't hammered, said the shop girl. You must have looked pretty well frazzled out, frazzled out to the little hero boy. It's been it's been 3 days, mourned the miniature painter, and he hasn't found me yet. Extend the time, said Hetty. This is a big town. Think of how many girls he must have to see soaked in water with their hair down before he would recognize you. This stews getting on fine, but oh, for an onion, I'd even use a piece of garlic if I had it. The beef and potatoes bubbled merrily, 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 exhaling, 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 a mouth-watering savor that yet lacked something living, a hunger on the plate, a haunting, wistful desire for some lost in needful. In needful ingredient. I came near drawing in that awful river, said Cecilia. I came near drawing in that awful river, said Cecilia, shuddering, shuddering. It's out to have more water in it, said Hetty. The stew I'm in. So to have more water in it, said Hetty, is the stew I'm in. I'll go get some at the sink. It smells good, said the artist. That nasty old river, objected Hetty. It smells to me like a soap. Fractions and wet stepper dogs. Oh, you mean this too? Well, I wish we had an onion for it. It looked like he had money. First he looked kind, said Cecilia. I'm sure he was rich, but that matters so little. When he drew out his bill folder to pay the cabman, you couldn't help seeing hundreds and thousands of dollars in it, and I looked over the cab doors and saw him leave the ferry station in the motor car, and the chauffeur, chauffeur gave him the bearskin to put on, bearskin, for he was sopping wet. And it was only 3 days ago. What a fool, said Hetty shortly. Oh, the chauffeur wasn't wet, breathed Cecilia, and he drove the car away very nice. I mean you, said Hetty, for not giving him your address. I never give my address to chauffeurs, said Cecilia, haughtily. Haun, haun, haunfully, haunfully, haun, haunfully, haunfully. I wish we had one, said Hetty disconsolately. Disconsolately. Remember this. What for? For the stew, of course. Oh, I mean the onion, an onion. Hetty took a picture, picture, what is this? And started to the sink, at the end of the hall. A young man came down the steps from above just as she was opposite the lower step. He was decently dressed, but pale and haggard. His eyes were dull with the stress of some burden of physical or mental woe. In his hand he bore an onion, a pink, smooth, solid, shining onion, as large around as 98-cent alarm clock. Okay, that seems enough for today, and we're gonna continue tomorrow, guys. So let's continue tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Bye.